Yesterday was a 0 day here in Snoqualmie Pass. I just pretty much finished packing up my pack, back up to the mountains, the 5 of us. So yesterday we drove down to a place called Issaquah, where there's an REI, and we did a lot of shopping. And I bought some gloves, some electrolyte mix, and I mailed a letter back home. I got some fuel too. I bought a big canister of fuel, bigger than I really wanted, but that's the only size they had. So here's my stuff. I'm getting ready to, I'm gonna give that tip to the cleaning lady, put on my shoes and be on the way. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. This was the first section that I would be hiking with a group. We had 5 people in our group, and I was really stoked about the possibility of hiking a whole section for 4.5 or 5 days with a group of 5 people. We didn't hike together every minute of the day, but we did have to collaborate about where we would camp every night, and we had to find a campsite that was big enough to hold 5 tents. Morning. Pretty spectacular scenery. We're getting up above 5,000 feet. Started at 3,000 this morning. It's been a pretty continuous climb. I think we're up about 5,500 now. We got some good views. You still see Mount Rainier. We're on the north side of Mount Rainier, where we're going to see some nice alpine lakes. It's either called alpine lakes or sky lakes, I'm not sure. Let me show you what it looks like here. Check out this reddish mountain. There's the interstate down there where we were this morning, I-90. Peter's up ahead. John is right behind, just a steady climb. I think we've all got our trail legs now, so we're able to do this without too much difficulty, even though our packs are full. It's about 4.5 days to our destination at Leaving Pass. We are planning to do about 14 miles today, but it's all pretty much uphill.
Before we go.
Well, this is called the Kendall Catwalk, and the trail came north, the trail went south and never met because of this. And so they blew the rock face to create a trail that's 7-8 feet wide.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to crawl across this.
Yeah, all right.
got about a mile left to our lunch break. Can't hear the freeway anymore. We just stopped and had lunch at a lake, and so we've got about 7.5 miles to go to our campsite, which is near a pond where we can get water. We just filled up with water back there. Check out this lake here. We're walking here on what they call scree, which is loose rocks. It's very difficult walking, so we're not making good time, but we have about 3.5 miles site. So that's the pond, the tent site. It's pretty spectacular scenery. Check out this scenery here. Good evening. It's about 5:30. We've gone about 13 miles today, and I think we have about a little over 1 mile to go. It's all downhill, I believe, from here. It's a tough climb today. I'd say it's about one of the toughest days I've had after Goat Rocks Wilderness on this trip. A lot of exposure, and it's a really hot day. I think I got sunburned my face. They're having a heat spell now down in Seattle this week, so we knew it was going to be hot. That's why we wanted to get an early start this morning. And we're talking about getting up early tomorrow morning and hiking before it gets too hot. So we're going to this pond tonight, and I think I can see it. It's just about a mile from here, all downhill. I think I'll show it to you here. Watch. See that? Then there's switchbacks here, so it's just switchbacks down this hillside. Pete's out in front, and then Dan, and then John, and then me, and then Payday. I saw a YouTube guy that I recognized this morning. His name is John, and he was on the Codgers YouTube channel as they were hiking through Southern California. So I said, hey, I recognize you. You're John, right? You hiked with the Codgers? He said, yeah. I said, they are about 350 miles behind us right now. But John passed us earlier this morning. Good evening. We're here at our campsite near some pond. We've got 6 tents here. It's been a pretty rough day. What about 14.1 miles, but 5,000 feet of elevation gain, and it was very hot, at least in the 80s. But we got here in time to set up our tents, cook dinner, and we're relaxing around a cup of coffee now. And I mentioned that the 3 Canadians are here for a charity. They're raising money, and I want to introduce you to Huckleberry, also known as Dan Murray, who's from what I understand, he's the CEO of this company, but his background is in electric engineering.
Sure. Well, hi, Woody. Thanks so much for the opportunity to share a little bit of our story. And yeah, it has been a rough day, but we're having a cup of decaf, Starbucks Via, just before we're all probably going to call it a night here. But, you know, as tough as today was, you know, when you go through a tough day like this, it reminds me, I guess, or forces me to remind myself of the why, you know, the why of this particular hike. And so I'll introduce myself. I'm Dan Murray. Trail name is Huckleberry, and I am the president and CEO of Opportunity International Canada. And Opportunity International is part of a global set of charities, including the US, Germany, Australia, and the UK. My good friend and supporter of our work, Peter Thorpe, also known as Wanderer on the trail, is a hiker who just also fell in love with the work of Opportunity International. And I'll explain a little bit about that. But he, a number of years ago, he loved to hike, and he decided he would turn his hikes into fundraising for our charity. And so he worked with our, way back when, probably 7 or 8 years ago, our VP of fundraising, and they came up with this idea of walking people out of poverty. So he is the founder of Walking People Out of Poverty, which exists to raise money for Opportunity International Canada. Then set his sights on the PCT, starting in Campo, got through the Sierras, was injured, and then COVID came. And so there's still, I think, a section that he needs to go back and finish. But his partner, Liz, had basically said, you're not allowed to go out by yourself. So it's an honor to be on this journey. I'm certainly enjoying the physical challenge. I think I've lost 20 pounds, and I can feel that I've got my trail legs a bit more than when we started 2 weeks ago. Today was brutal. I ran out of water maybe a mile before we got here to the pond, and the first thing I did was filter a liter and drink a liter. But we're doing it for these clients. You know, the $500,000 will actually help about 6,000 clients. So it's an honor to be part of this group, and we joined up with Woody and also AKA Bubblehead and Payday. So now we've become a party of 5, and just it's such an encouragement to be walking with these PCT veterans, and they've really made the journey a lot more fun and interesting. And
well, I have to say that I've enjoyed the time that I've hiked with you, and because I was hiking by myself for the 2 weeks before that, and it's nice to be able to hike with other people. Yeah, you just have to do it day by day.
Yeah, the biggest trick is finding campsites big enough for 5 tents, but we're so far so good. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks, Dan. And
sounds good. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Woody.
Okay, good night. We were all beat by the time we reached this campsite. It was one of the hardest days on the PCT. That was because of the heat, because of walking on the scree, and the walking uphill.